Hi, in today's video we're going to visit with an old friend. Well, not exactly. You might think that you're looking at a NuTone IMA303 Master Station, but if that's what you thought, you'd be wrong. Because this is not an IMA303, this is an IMA323. And a 323 is a variation on the original IMA303. NuTone always had a habit of designing a particular model and then leveraging that design into different variations because that gives you a broader product selection. It helps keep development and design costs down. It keeps manufacturing costs down, and units are more affordable and more people can buy them. What is an IMA323? Well, officially it's called a Deluxe Securicom Radio Intercom Security Master Station. Just like other models that were derived from the original IMA303, for instance the IMA, B, C, or D 313, it's a variation on a basic IMA303. As an example, if you take an IMA303 and you add a clock and a cassette player recorder to it, it becomes an IMA313. Later on, if you add a weather radio to it, it becomes an IMC or IMD313. It's still underlying a IMA303. It's AM/FM radio with room-to-room intercom. It just has a lot of enhancements to it, so more people might want to buy it because they want added features and more nicety to the whole thing. So what did they add to an IMA303 to make it an IMA323? They added a security system to it. And I did security in air quotes because in today's world it really wouldn't qualify as any kind of security system. But back in the mid-70s when it came out, apparently it did. One of the things that a lot of people probably don't know is that NuTone started making security systems all the way back in the mid-1960s. And back in those days, security systems were pretty simple. They were all electromechanical systems. Basically, it was a box with a transformer, some relays, a switch or two, maybe a couple lights that lit up. And they were pretty primitive, but they were comparable to what other simple security systems were like back in those days. A NuTone S100, which is the very first system they ever made, I think it was in 1964 or 1965, not that much different than a Demco 340 or 342R. The Demco stuff's a little more sophisticated in some of its expandability, but fundamentally, same kind of thing. It used to be sometimes referred to as a relay in a mayonnaise jar because some of the very earliest security systems back in the 50s, that's basically what they were. They even worked on dry cell batteries sometimes. NuTone always had different types of security systems that they made, and those were all standalone systems. Starting around 1968, someone at NuTone apparently got an idea that we could incorporate some amount of a security system into some of our radio intercom systems, and the very first model that I could find that they ever did that with was a model 462B. It was a simple AM/FM room-to-room intercom with a very simple security aspect to it. As that idea progressed over time, we ended up in the mid and late 70s with the IMA323. Let's take a quick look at our IMA323. So what do we have here? Well, it looks like an IMA303 because that's essentially what it is. It's AM/FM radio with two auxiliary inputs. You have phono and tape because they did make auxiliary in-wall phonographs and tape players at that time. It's a 3-wire system. You have inside patio talk and listen. You have door speaker talk and listen. Back here, we have our 8 room control switches, just like on a 303. You have listen in, or what would be monitor, off, and radio intercom positions. We have volume to all speaker, which is the gain control for the radio, and a tone control down here at the bottom. On the surface of it, it looks just like exactly like a 303 because essentially that's what it is. But if we look on the bottom, we'll see something else. We'll see right here that there's a 3-position slide switch, And this is what is used to activate the security aspect of the system. The way this functions is when it's in the center position, the security equipment is turned off. When we move it to the left, it's in the exit position, which gives you a timeout exit delay and also an entrance delay when someone opens a door. And then you can also switch it to the home position. Home arms the system and provides instant alarm if someone opens a door or a window. If we look at the back of the IMA323, you'll notice it looks very much like an IMA303 with some additions. The basic equipment of a 303 is down here we have the AM/FM tuner assembly. Here we have our talk, listen, control module. This is our main board, which is power supply, amplification, and some intercom circuitry. Down here we have our input selection switch, we have our volume and tone control. Here is our main master speaker volume control with the on-off switch built in. Our speaker is up here, and it's all very basic. But we have some extra equipment added in also. Down here is our 3-position slide security control switch. Over here on the right hand side we have a 4-terminal connection strip, and this is where our push buttons from our entry door chime push button would be connected, and these 2 screws at the bottom are for our intruder closed loop security system. Up here we have this is our door signal / alarm module, and this is really the sort of the heart of the security part of this master station. And over here we have an audio matching transformer. This is to match the output of the security board to the speaker itself. Oh, and let's not forget the most important aspect of this, which is right here, which is a mechanical security buzzer. It makes this really horrible sound, and I think I might actually hook it up so you can hear it. So how does this actually work? Well, it's pretty easy. It's a single or one zone security system, which means it's one continuous loop of wire. For instance, if the wire began at this screw here, it would travel throughout your house, and every door and window that would have a security contact on it, the wire would go into one side of that contact switch, out of the other side of the contact switch, and then continue on to the next door and window, and it would loop around through your house, and the other end of the wire would end up here. So it creates one loop of security or intruder prevention, and when all of the doors and windows are closed, the magnets are next to the little reed switches, and the loop is in a closed condition. When someone opens a door or a window, the security switch opens, it breaks the loop, and the alarm module sees the break in the security intruder loop. If the system is in the off position, nothing happens, it doesn't care. If it's in the home position, which is like an instant alarm, immediately it would set off the security module here. It would activate a circuit that activates the security horn here. It puts the system into a intercom talk mode, and as the horn blasts sound into the back of the master station speaker, the master speaker will pick up that sound, and because the system is in talk mode, it comes out through all of the speakers throughout your entire house. So you have sort of a whole house security horn sounding system. Every room that has an intercom station, you're going to hear the sound. If the security slide selector switch is in the exit position, it gives you between 40 and 80 seconds to leave the house before the security system is armed. And likewise, when you come home and open the door, you have approximately the same amount of time to make your way to the master station and slide the switch to the off position to defeat the security system. Probably one of the most interesting features of this is also the door chime or door buzzer push button circuit. If you connected wires to these 2 screws and you ran those wires to the front door of your house, and someone pushed the doorbell or door buzzer button, it would activate part of the security board circuitry. It would activate the buzzer here. It would put the master station into talk mode, and you would hear the buzzing sound of it through the entire intercom system. So it was an inexpensive way to have a whole house door buzzer that you would hear through your intercom system. So the question is, why is this one here? Well, this one was sent in by a customer from Arizona. They bought the house recently, I think within the last year, and the system doesn't work. The radio and the intercom don't work. The security part doesn't work. I've noticed that there are some cut wires in here. So it probably was making a lot of annoying noises or something like that. The little security part of these systems, they tend to malfunction fairly regularly as they get old, and that can create problems with trying to use the system. The other part of the security system is it has a feature which allows the alarm module to mute the radio if it's playing when the alarm goes off or when the door buzzer is activated. And so if this module fails, it can cause the system to become muted even though the horn isn't going off and the security part isn't being used. So that can be kind of a problem. Like a lot of people, this customer, they're not at all interested in the security aspect of this model. Basically, they want a radio intercom system that works. What am I going to do with it? Oh, and they're not using the door buzzer. They have a separate doorbell in their house, so they don't care about that either. So what are we going to do with this? We're going to do a security-ectomy. We're going to remove the security parts of this 323 and we're going to convert it back into an IMA303. One of the nice things and perhaps interesting things about the way a 303 is converted into a 323 is that most of the wires in the wiring harness are simply tacked on to different components throughout the set. Here you can see this green wire, it's soldered to one leg of resistor 206. This white wire here is soldered onto one leg of resistor 204, I think it is. We have another one that's a white wire that's, no, that's part of the intercom. What else do we have? We have, here's a brown or purple wire. It's tacked onto a jumper down in here. It's sort of an add-on or a workaround of a standard design, so removing this isn't really all that difficult. Why don't you sit back and relax and watch me convert this IMA 323 into an IMA 303. Ready, set, go. And that's all it takes. Here are our assemblies that turn an IMA303 into an IMA323. We have our door signal and alarm module, our terminal strip, our buzzer, an audio matching transformer, and our control switch, some screws, and a wiring harness. You might have noticed that the wires that were soldered onto the different components on the main board, I just snipped them off for now because we're doing a repair on this set. As I take the set apart and take the board out of the faceplate, I will desolder the little nubs that are left. I did that mostly for your guys' benefit so you don't have to sit there and watch me desolder a bunch of wires. There's not really all that much to it, and what we end up with is we now have a standard IMA 303. That's what's left. This unit's going to get rebuilt and repaired and sent back to Arizona. For those of you who might be interested, because I said I would let you hear it, let's go ahead and hook up the security horn slash door buzzer that came with the 323. This apparently was made by a company called Delta Alarm in Marion, Indiana. How about that? Let's go ahead and hook this up. And you can hear what would wake you up at 2 o'clock in the morning if someone came in, like your teenage son sneaking in from a date past his curfew. This is what would go through your house. Oops, there we go. That would certainly get you up as a quality door signal. I'm not exactly sure. that's how you convert a NuTone IMA323 Deluxe Securicom into an IMA303 Radio Intercom Master Station. I hope you found this interesting, and for those of you who might have one of these and it's not working correctly, you can easily remove the security part of it and perhaps get your 303 to work properly again, and that would be good. So if that helps you, please give us a thumbs up on YouTube, because that always helps. There'll be a banner right here that shows you how to subscribe. Go to our YouTube homepage, click on the bell or on the little wheel up on our banner, and put in your email address, and you'll get notifications every time we post a new video. That's all for today. See you on the next video.